Hey everybody, what is going on? HexLex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it's time for yet another one of our viewer specials. If this is your first time in this series, whether you are participating or watching, first of all, welcome, and I really am glad to have you around. But if you're just watching and interested in participating, you can do so by going down to the link in the description below and finding our invite link to the Discord server, the HexLex Plex. There, under the Master Duel section, we have a channel called Viewer Special Submissions, where you can drop your 9-digit player ID. That way I can view your publicly saved replays, and one that you would like me to feature can be potentially featured here on the channel. You can submit as many different replays as you like. I just ask that you don't submit the same one over and over again. But yeah, like I said, we do this every single Monday, and if you are interested in having one of your cool games showed off, then by all means, feel free to submit. And if you don't get in this week, there's always the next one. Like I said, every single Monday we're doing this. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the spiel. Why don't we just go ahead and get right on into your games. Okay, our first game comes to us from Halfbrain, who goes by the Golem of Prague on the Discord server, who's got a game where they're playing Fiendsmith, and I believe we're going against Maliss. Let me confirm that real quick. Yes, we are going against Maliss, playing Mathematic Multiplication, which is kind of interesting, I guess, for the Terahertz? Interesting. Okay, but you're probably more interested, and I am too, in the Unchained deck here. So this is actually going to be kind of similar to the Fiend pile that we saw, was that last week or the week before? Pretty recently. We got Magical Musket stuff going on, we got Unchained stuff happening, and of course, Fiendsmith. So that's really, really cool to see that people are still rocking awesome decks like these, even in Maliss meta. And let's go ahead and see just how we do here, going second against the Maliss deck. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit tempted to build this variant, seeing it a couple of times here in the viewer special now myself. Not the Maliss variant, I mean this Unchained variant, the Fiendsmith, the Fiend pile. Alright, so they're going to lead with Dormouse, Banish, March Hare. Pretty standard fare for Maliss. We have both Maxi and Ash Blossom, though, so definitely not too shabby there. They're going to link off the Dormouse in order to summon the Link Decoder. I actually like holding the Maxi for presumably this March Hare summon, yes, because it gets them to commit to throwing the Link Decoder on the field. Now here it looks like they had an Ash Blossom, so it didn't super matter, but I just kind of wanted to point that out real quick. I feel like a lot of players would have called that a misplay to not Maxi in response to the Dormouse being on the field because you quote-unquote missed the draw of Link Decoder, but I've talked about this a couple of times. In that kind of a situation, your opponent's probably just going to stop after one draw anyway, and here, if this had resolved, we would have gotten our one draw, but again, now we force them to commit Link Decoder on the field, which means they either have to link it off to get value out of it, which means more draws for us, a lot more, or they have to just pass, we get one draw anyway, and then we can battle over their Link Decoder, and they don't have access to it if they don't just lose on the following turn. So Maxi is a lot more of a nuanced card than a lot of people realize. I'm always surprised when I see even what I consider to be very good, like upper level players, just always default shotgunning at draw phase. I think that's extremely rare that it's correct, but I've made whole videos about that topic, so. Alright, now they have the Appaloosa established, and looks like they're going to go for the Bestial Saronir next. Saronir is not the most typical Bestial choice for Maliss to be playing. It's usually just Magnum Hut and Drewswarm. I don't really think you need Saronir, but I think our opponent is also playing Lubellion, which I also don't think you super need, but I'm not going to fault somebody for trying out some new things, right? Okay, here's their White Binder. White Binder going to banish their Saronir into Armax-C. I think that might have not meant to click the effect there, because I don't see a benefit to banishing their own Saronir here, but I mean, I've done that before too with White Binder, to be fair. Sometimes you just forget to check the graveyard and see if you actually want to banish stuff. Is this Firewall Dragon? Oh, no, it's Splash Mage, right, we haven't done that yet. It's going to be Splash Mage for Chessy Cat, and then linking off the Chessy Cat in order to summon, is this Lingaribo? Yeah. And then passing. That's a little odd. Considering they could have, if nothing else, ended on Firewall Dragon with just these two. That's typically what I think they would do here. Well, typically with a Dormouse line, aren't you supposed to also end on the Terahertz, which our opponent is definitely playing, so. Okay, anyway. Alright, they're going to draw phase Max Seal. It looked like it was a good thing that we held on to that Ash Blossom there. I wonder if, well, I guess they do have the Appaloosa, to be fair. I wonder if our intention was to hold on to the Ash Blossom until they tried to Terahertz Stump. Well, I guess also, to be fair, they did have Appaloosa on board, so it would have kind of been pointless to fire it off either way. Okay, so I think they resolved Max C, we resolved Max C, and then they also got to GWC for the White Binder. Now, we're going to get a bunch of draws off of these summons here. It kind of makes me wonder why our opponent is summoning all of these. Well, I guess to be fair, the March Hare is getting added, but I think you really only needed to summon White Rabbit here. Give us one draw and then set your trap card, right? The MTP. The Chesty Cat, yeah, it just doesn't really seem like it does anything here. Okay. Our hand's looking really solid. We've got the Engraver for Tract. Normal summon the Casper, going for Abomination's Prisons to add the Shayara. I see. It looks like what we're doing here is getting out all of our searches, like, sooner rather than later. I think we might be trying to droll our opponent's Max C. Maybe. We might just have to power through it at this point, too. I guess to be fair, our opponent hasn't even drawn yet, because we haven't summoned yet. Okay, there's their second Appaloosa negation used on the Lurie. Now, all we have to worry about at this point is MTP. And the Maxi. That resolved, of course. Okay, yep, we are going to draw on the first draw. That's why we did all our searching first. Very, very good. Very good play. Alright, now here is the Requiem. Alright, so at this point, we're basically trying to bait out the MTP banish, right? I could easily see that, or I could potentially rather see that happening when we go to summon the sequence, which it looks like we're doing right now. I don't think we've normaled yet, have we? We have. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Shavara set Escape the Unchained, Sequence F activating. We're getting to summon the Aerial Eater here. Aerial Eater F gets to send Shayama. Shayama F gets to pop the face down, and then now we can not only summon the Shayama, but also Escape of the Unchained will summon Abominable Unchained Soul from our deck. Popping their face down MTP, which they never used for some reason. Linking off into the Yama now. Here we go, here we go. Now we can start link climbing. Yama reviving the Sharvar that's in our graveyard. Well, not reviving, just adding it back to our hand. Now we're going to link climb up to 3, this time going into Unchained Soul of Anguish. Getting to use one of our opponent's monsters to link climb. We're going to use Appaloosa and then make a link 4, which is going to be the Unchained Abomination. Moving to battle phase, A-Bomb battles over the White Binder. And then we get to pop another card of the field. It's going to be the face down TB11. Next we're going to battle over their Splash Mage with the Abominable Unchained Soul. End of main phase 2. Looks like opponent's going to go March Hare, banish White Binder. White Binder F gets to summon and then would draw here, if not for the draw and Lockbird. We then get to use Fiendsmith in Paradise, send Desiree, and then that's going to get rid of our opponent's White Binder once again. On the end phase, Abomination gets to pop another card. We're going to get rid of Chesty Cat and stop the draws, and our opponent does still have a bunch of monsters on the field, but none of the monsters on board do anything, right? Except link off into other stuff, and our opponent is kind of running out of things to do decently quickly here, except they're going to use Little Knight to banish their own White Binder, which is kind of an interesting play there. Makes sense, though, because if they try to target one of our Unchained cards, we could have responded with Sharvara, potentially. Getting to use Lacrim of the Crimson Tears here in order to summon our Fiendsmith's Requiem back to the field. We did already use Fiendsmith in Paradise, so we can't send that, but still good to have the advantage here. Alright, White Binder getting to banish Red Ransom, Chesty Cat, and March Hare here. Gonna summon those two and then add the March Hare. Ash Blossom being used on the Fiendsmith's Requiem, which is actually pretty fine. I guess to be fair, we don't really have anything in hand or on field that the Ash Blossom threatens anyway, so it's like, opponent might as well do it, but alright, there's Chesty Cat, there's Red Ransom banishing, looks like another monster. It was Dormouse. Makes sense, because they haven't summoned Dormouse yet this turn. And then Red Ransom is going to add Maliss in the Mirror. Alright, they're going to banish the Malice in the Mirror to draw 2 cards here. White Binder F gets to set the GWC. But they do still have to just kind of get over our board at this point, and looks like they're going to try to do that with the Terahertz. Alright, Terahert's effect, sending Virologic Aggregator. Aggregator negates our Unchained Abomination. And then they're also going to go into Access Code Talker. Interesting. Unfortunately for them, I don't really think destroying our cards is going to work out super well. Because a lot of them want to be destroyed. We even get to revive the Unchained Abomination here. And then pop the Sharvara. Now Sharvara and Unchained A-Bomb get to both activate here. A-Bomb gets to pop the Access Code Talker. And then Sharvara, of course, is going to set one of the Unchained trap cards. But that was a very nice way of not only cycling our A-Bomb, so that way its effect was no longer negated, but then also outing the Access Code Talker as well. GWC is going to banish the onboard White Rabbit to revive White Binder, but unfortunately they don't have enough attack points, fortunately for our opponent. They don't have enough attack points to battle over the Abominable Unchained Soul. That's kind of what I meant when I said that, you know, we do definitely still have to, like, our opponent definitely still has to get over our board, right? Sometimes the toughest thing to do is battle over, you know, 3k attack points. Getting to revive over our Unchained A-Bomb here, or over, just revive our Unchained A-Bomb in general. We're going to go Sharvara, pop Abominable Unchained Soul. They're going to use the March Hare F here in order to banish Red Ransom and summon. But, I mean, yeah, they could summon another Link monster to the field, but I guess same with the Red Ransom stat swap. But that doesn't do a ton in this situation. It did a lot more when the Abominable Unchained Soul was in play. Of course, now also the Linked monster is gone too, so... Well, Chessie Cat can put itself in the same zone. But yeah, Abominable Unchained Soul had 1500 defense and 3000 attack. The difference there is a lot greater than Hero Sharvara. Alright, we're going to link off our board into Moon of the Closed Heaven. Sharvara F will activate here. Our opponent's going to Valor the Moon. Sure, why not? I feel like our opponent has been clicking yellow buttons for quite a while here. I'm not going to lie. Alright, Aerial Eater gets to revive itself, and now we're linking off into... is this Sequence? Did I get put back? Oh, no. Link 3, it's Ognum Day. Oh, and that's how we're gonna finish this duel. That's fun. We're not even doing it on the Desiree, though, because that didn't get summoned by its own effect. We're just summoning one of our musket monsters and making it huge. I gotta say, that was a very, very... back and forth 4-turn duel from the Unchained versus Maliss game. Maliss player could have, of course, played better, but that's not to diminish the fact that our deck did a bunch of really, really cool stuff this game. So, hell yeah. Thank you very much for that submission. We still have, of course, a couple more to go. Let's take a look at the next one. Alright, next game comes to us from Hades, aka Billy G18, over on the Discord server, who's got a game playing Salamangreat. Playing good old Salad. Actually still a very solid deck, even in this meta. It's actually been a really solid deck pretty much the entire time, but yeah. Always nice to see Salads. I like Salamangreat. And our opponent is, of course, going to be on Maliss. To probably nobody's surprise. Alright, we're going second. Another going second game, and I believe from what I remember in the descriptor, we don't actually open any of our hand traps here. So Salad going second against Maliss with no hand traps. Very eager to see how this plays out. Yeah, sure enough, no hand traps. Look at that. We did get triple attack, though, which is very, very good. And opponent's going to lead with Dormouse. Love to see that. Alright, Dormouse going to banish in order to also add back the March Hare. Then link off into Link Decoder. Pretty typical turn 1 Dormouse line here. March Hare is going to banish the Dormouse from the yard and summon itself. Dormouse F to summon, and then they're gonna link all 3 into Red Ransom. Looks like they also had a trap card to set as well. If they did, they should have set it before they summoned Dormouse, but we didn't have any hand traps here, so they didn't get punished for it. Red Ransom going to add Malice and Underground. Link Decoder summons itself back, and of course these 2 are gonna link off into the Appaloosa. Alright, Malice and Underground F, gonna banish Malice in the Mirror. Malice in the Mirror banishing the Red Ransom in order to add White Rabbit. This, of course, will trigger the Red Ransom effect in order to special herself. And then banish the Chessie Cat. Chessie Cat gets to summon, and then activate, banishing presumably, yep, the White Rabbit in order to draw 2, White Rabbit F in order to summon, and then set the GWC. Or no, they're setting MTP, so the other face down must already be the GWC. Red Ransom plus Chessy Cat makes Splash Mage. Is that right? I think that is actually right, yeah. And then, yeah, we make White Binder here. Okay, yeah, because we still have the White Ribbon, we can still make Firewall. Okay, that makes sense. White Binder banishing Dormouse. Again, I don't think our opponent actually meant to do that because the Dormouse F didn't summon. And then if they're playing Terahertz, I think you would go all 3 into Terahertz after you reset the GWC here. Looks like, yep, that's exactly what they're doing. Alright, it's going to send the D-Save Worm, and then set and pass. Alright. Let's see how we do this here. Dominus Impulse, that's a great top deck. Like, even, like, you might be thinking, like, oh, it's a hand trap and we're just now getting it. Yes, because we can stop this GWC here. That is so good. Oh, yeah, D-Save Worm. Although I will say, at the very least here, the early D-Save Worm does proc our triple attack. Oh, wait, I think I already see how we might be doing this here. Actually, there's multiple ways we could do this. We could steal their Appaloosa and not have to worry about monster negates while also negating their stuff. Or we could even steal their Terahertz, which would make OTKing a lot easier here. Wow, triple attack is such a good card. Alright, there's the Red Ransom, White Rabbit F, Red Ransom F, and then March Hare to add itself back. Okay, so Red Ransom's going to add another Malice and Underground, and then... I'm actually surprised White Binder still has something to set. Oh, is this going to be TB11? Okay, so then the last card they set was just a random, like Imperm or Call By or something? Yeah, okay, it's TB11. Got it. Alright, here's the triple attack. Let's see what we end up taking here. We are taking the Terahertz. Okay. I wondered if that was going to be the case. Activating Terahertz to try to dump fire here. Our opponent's going to definitely want to Appaloosa that. Looks like we're going to go for the battle right off the bat. They're going to use MTP to banish the Terahertz here. Now we get to normal summon Salamangreat of Fire, adding the Gazelle. I really liked that battle phase threaten, by the way. I think that was very much needed, and that's not a play that a lot of players would have made. Alright, Sound of Fire goes into Balinx. We're going to activate Gazelle. They are going to use the Appaloosa here to negate. But we do still have the Code of Soul. Oh, but they have Dominus Impulse for that. Wow! Impulse destroying the Code of Soul, but we still have Will of the Salamangreat, which we can use to special that Gazelle from our hand. Gazelle F to send to Spinny, Spinny F to summon itself. Now we're going to overlay the Gazelle plus the Spinny into the rank 3 Mirage Stalio. From here we get to activate the Mirage Stalio effect, detaching in order to special summon Weasel, turning all 3 into the Promethean Princess. Alright, now at this stage we get to activate Promethean Princess, reviving the Code of Soul. Code of Soul F lets us link summon into the Pyro Phoenix. There we go. And then now we can use Code of Soul's effect in order to use Pyro Phoenix to link summon another Pyro Phoenix, which will wipe our opponent's entire board. All cards, including monsters. TB11's going to chain here, banishing the White Binder in order to summon Dormouse, which does spare the White Binder. It means that it does get to revive here and then also draw a card. Or no, it doesn't get to draw because of Droll. And then Promethean Princess gets to activate. We also chained Pyro Phoenix. I believe that's the life point gain effect that we used right there. And then Balinx also keeps the Pyro Phoenix from being destroyed as well, which means we can still use it as a link material in order to make the Raging Phoenix. This was such a good game. Whoa. Holy. That was awesome. It's too bad. We could have, like, oh my god. If we were playing against any other deck besides Maliss, by the way, we would have popped off so much harder. We could have actually used Will as a, like, soul charge effect. Okay, here we go for the Promethean Princess, but it looks like they have a Dominus Impulse. But now we're going to kind of sort of see the same thing that we did in the last game, where Maliss seems like it not always, but can somewhat struggle in grind games, right? Because you fire off so many cylinders on turn 1 that, I mean, they can still go into access code, which looks like they are... Oh, no, they're going into card scripter. I guess, yeah, they can still go into access code plus hard scripter. Which, again, it looks like is exactly what they're doing right here. Oh, no, they're making Firewall Dragon instead of access code. Oh, they might not be playing access code. In which case, I'm betting they really wish they did now. Okay, GWC here is going to revive the White Binder. White Binder F gets to activate. That'll banish the Heart Scripter as well as our Pyro Phoenixes. They were not about to deal with that again. Heart Scripter gets to revive as well as double its attack points. And we are going to activate Triple Attack once again. Opponent's going to chain the Heart Scripter F in order to banish a card. Probably just going to be our Raging Phoenix here, I would assume. No, it banishes itself. Wait, really? Now we just take Firewall Dragon, yeah. Firewall Dragon F to try to bounce their White Binder. They're going to chain Imperm. It's totally fine. I think we just still have Lethal on board, right? No, we're actually 800 off still. Okay, here's Baylynx. We actually haven't summoned Baylynx yet, have we? I don't think we have, but we're just going to concede right there, which is kind of interesting. I think they definitely should have made us play it out, because I actually really would have liked to see how we would have, like, use our Link monsters to, like, Link climb to victory, but wow, that was an awesome, awesome duel. Thank you so much, Hades. Good stuff. Let's do one more before we finish off here. And our final game comes to us from Ekudo. Ekudo has a duel here from the festival where it looks like they are on Scareclaw Tri-Brigade. That's pretty awesome, actually. I've been playing Fiendsmith Yubel in the event, but this would be a great excuse to use my playset of Rescue Cats, and of course, just to play Tri-Brigade again. My first deck I played in Master Dueling, one of my favorites. And yeah, our opponent is going to be on Maliss. It's going to be Event Maliss, so of course it's going to look a lot different because Dormouse is limited, and I think there's some other changes in the extra deck, like a ban or something, but maybe not actually, because I'm seeing a lot of the stuff you would expect to see here, but... Oh yeah, Link Decoder, that's the big one. But of course, Maliss is still very, very playable in the event here. So let's go ahead and check out this last duel here. Scareclaw Tri-Brigade. I don't know if I've ever actually played that variant. I've played a lot of Scareclaw variants, and I've played some Tri-Brigade variants, but have I actually played Scareclaw Tri-Brigade? I don't think I have, the more I think about it. Alright, we're going to lead with the Scareclaw Astra here, and then we're linking that off into our Scareclaw Lightheart. Lightheart's effect gets to activate here. Opponent's going to chain Effect Veiler, which is perfectly fine for us because we already have the field spell in our hand. Even if they ash the field spell, we already have the Scareclaw Rykart in our hand as well. That's exactly what happened. I had a feeling that's what was going to happen here. That's good. Always satisfying when your opponent's negates end up meaning nothing. Alright. Getting to use the Arrival, bringing back the Astra, and now we're going to link Lightheart plus Astra into Farigite? Yeah, Farigite. And then we can special the Rescue Cat in our hand. Rescue Cat F is going to summon Kit and Acro. We're then going to link all three of these into the Scareclaw Tri-Heart. So we'll trigger both the Farigite and the Tri-Brigade Kit's effects. Kit, of course, is probably going to end up dumping Nerval for a search. Yep. And then Farigite lets us draw and put one of our cards back. We already used Arrival, so it makes sense to keep the Scareclaw straddle here. Getting to special summon the Karos here. Now, this is good because Tri-Heart gets to not only summon, but also add. So we can use that to get the Scareclaw Kashira here, and then summon that to our board as well. Alright, Imperm is coming down first thing on the Tri-Heart, but we are going to chain the Scareclaw Straddle, which means we get to negate the Imperm here, because it targets Vises or a card that mentions it, or a Scareclaw monster, I mean. It's one of the two, right? A Scareclaw monster or Vises, okay. I don't think Tri-Heart mentions Vises. No, it doesn't, okay. Okay, so looks like they are going to lead with Was it Dormouse, banish something else? Yeah, and then summon Splash Mage. Okay. Alright, GWC to revive to get an extra body online. Now they're going to go for the Red Ransom. I think they should use GWC on Red Ransom though, right? Okay. Oh, they're going straight for access code. Okay. Access code F gets to banish the Red Ransom. Gonna try to pop the Tri-Heart, but we get to use Scareclaw Rival effect to put a stop to that. Red Ransom revives, banishes White Rabbit summons, White Rabbit F gets to set the TB11. Now they're gonna link everything, including Access Code Talker, into Terahertz? No, into, oh, Heartscriptor. Yeah, they did that in the wrong order. They should have summoned Heartscriptor and then used that to make Access Code. TB11 banishes the Heartscriptor, summons White Binder from the extra deck. Heartscriptor F gets to revive. With the double attack, but it doesn't really matter, unfortunately, for them, because, yeah, they can't battle over all of our stuff, let alone deal enough damage to actually do lethal here. We're going straight to battle phase here, using the Scareclaw Cashier to get over the Heartscriptor. By negating its effect when we battle it here. Unfortunately, that didn't really work out for us because of the trap card, but we still get to go main phase 2, link to the Scareclaw Lightheart. Lightheart F going to activate here to add the field spell, which we get to activate over our old one. I think it looks like we were trying to, and this makes sense, like get rid of the Heartscriptor so it couldn't vanish. Wait, they're impriming the Scareclaw Astra here? Oh, wait, huh? No, that doesn't make sense. I was gonna say for the column, but no, that doesn't make sense at all. Alright, now they're linking into we're linking rather into IP. Normal summon Karos, turn everything into another Tri-Heart. This one made with IP, so it can't be destroyed by card effects, which is nice. Karos F gets to banish 4 for Shurig. Now we get to go Shurig F to banish. And because Heartscriptor already revived, it's going to stay banished. That's really nice. And then we're going to go into, oh, Zealantis. Using Shurig. That triggers the Shurig effect. Huh, I never thought about that, actually. Like, since Zealantis came out, the fact that you can Zealantis over Shurig to then trigger the Shurig search effect. To not only get access to Zealantis, but like keep comboing if you're going second. That's really cool. We're like popping off so hard here. Our opponent only has the White Binder left and nothing else. Granted, that is still, you know, a good bit to get their plays going. But meanwhile, we have the Tri-Heart plus the Zealantis plus a board full of Scareclaw and Tri-Brigade monsters here. So they're going to reset and then activate the GWC here in order to revive the Heartscriptor that got banished. This will, of course, also proc the... Oh, no, it didn't proc... Oh, because it got summoned by the trap card. Right. White Binder didn't get summoned, quote-unquote, properly through an actual link summon, so it couldn't revive via its banish effect. That actually super mattered for us here. They're going to try to go for White Rabbit. We get to call by the White Rabbit. This will not only stop the trap card setting, but also stops it from reviving itself. Yeah, they're kind of getting desperate here. They're going into Lizardos to keep their plays going. Lizardos Spanish Dormouse in order to Dormouse F to summon itself and then link into the White Binder. It would have to be the White Binder, right? Yeah, and then White Binder can banish stuff from the graveyards here. Heartscriptor, Maliss in the Mirror, and Red Ransom, but only Red Ransom can summon itself. Maliss in the Mirror does get to activate to search a trap card here. Oh, no, Heartscriptor, right, that was the last turn where it used its summon effect. Okay. So it does get to revive here. The thing is, though, as soon as they move to battle phase, we can pop, is this 3 cards? Oh, not anymore, okay. It's 2 cards. We can pop 2 cards because these are co-linked. Oh no, it's negated, right, because of Terahertz, of course. Dang, that would have been really sweet. No, I totally forgot about Terahertz negating that. I got too excited. Rescue Cat seems like it might be a pretty good top deck here. I think we still have 2 bodies we can summon out of the deck. I think. Actually, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what our Tri-Brigade ratios were off the top of my head. They're banishing our field spell for some reason. That's totally fine. Okay, yeah, we do still have multiple bodies to summon. And then we're gonna make... Is this Underworld Goddess? Using their Heart Scripter? It sure is. And then now if they try to go GWC, we can actually use... Oh no, they said MTP, right? They already used GWC. They banished GWC to search MTP. That's what it was. But yeah, the MTP search does not do anything without a Maliss Link monster on the field. Not enough to stop us here. And then yeah, at this point, it's not going to be too difficult to find lethal. We can simply summon a second Shura using our Kuros. Or Karos, rather. Move into battle phase, we get to smack him with our monsters, and that's going to be the game. That was a really, really good duel. And honestly, I really underestimated the amount of advantage that we were able to generate there, grinding out our Maliss opponent. Very good stuff. Thank you everybody who submitted for this week. Regardless if you got featured or not, there is still definitely the next week and the week after that, so on and so forth, if you want to get featured in the future. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. Thanks again everybody for submitting and for watching. Let's move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.